we're going to be going over some character design. As you can see, I have in front of me here what we're going to be working on, or at least the start of what we're going to be working on. Last month I talked about how different characters, like the shapes that you use for different characters, can tell you a lot about them. Now we're going into simplification, as well as oh, this is a, there we go. Here, that's not B. Okay. We're going to be talking about character design, simplification, different styles, and what, like why you would want to use those styles. This layer is going to be called sketch, because we're going to sketch on top of it. So let's start off very easily with, I'm going to use a sketchy brush. Okay. So all these are, well, 3 of the 4 are in the same basic pose. And you can see they follow the same S curves for the most part, and then there's this one. So we have a normally proportioned character. We have a stylized proportioned character. We have a basic chibi character, and then we have what's called SD. Now sometimes you hear chibi referred to as SD. It means super deformed. Basically, it means that the head is huge and the rest of the body is very small by comparison. So let's start with a character. So I don't have a character in mind. Let's give this person hat. Those floppy beanie hats. Let's see. Sideburns, ear, bit of a cowlick. Their hair comes out to the side. Something like that. I don't want to zoom in too terribly much because this is just going to be broad. And since they've got a beanie on, well, it is cold outside, so let's give them a big poofy scarf. Oops. Let's see here. Let's get the little fringy bits to it. Okay. Little sweater going on. This person's a bit of a hipster, aren't they? It's okay. But the first thing that you notice about this character that we're drawing here is they have a lot of detail to them. So they have a lot of little tiny things to them that you're going to find that the other characters just don't have. And why is that? Well, it's not necessary, because for the rest of them, they're going to be simplified. From a slightly non-standard, for me anyway, slightly different nose than I normally do. You'll notice that the eyes are smaller and doesn't have as much expression. Might be a really cheerful person. So let's give this person a smile. Might be a really cheerful person. with their big poofy scarf and all. Little tiny goatee. Not goatee, beard. Maybe you have some gloves. Let's give you some fingerless gloves. Because why not? We're drawing this character on the fly. And by the way, I do have chat open, so if you have any questions at all, please be sure to say something. I'm always here to listen and answer questions, so please feel free. There we go. And just some fingerless gloves. Go, and actually let's have your pants tuck into some nice boots, because I know when I go outside in this kind of weather, I tuck my my pants into my boots, because otherwise I tend to step on the back ends of my pants, and it's awful. It shreds them, and I don't want to do that. Let's see. Boots at home are not very stylish, so sorry dude, you're not going to be super stylish, because I'm going to try and copy the boots that I have. At least to some small degree. Okay. This is just crisscross, crisscross. Now the thing about doing crisscross stuff is that when you have two lines for either side, they don't pull directly together. You do actually see the tongue of the shoe come out, but it's kind of like doing a braid. It's over, under, over, under, over, yeah, like that. That's how it's meant to look. Though there are different varieties, you just have to remember that if it goes in, like if it goes underneath a flap of fabric, it also has to come out from underneath the fabric. But there's other ways to do it where, like, actually, I want to do that very quickly. Like, you can have it go like this, where it would be underneath and you wouldn't see it. And then this one goes over here. Oops. And this one actually comes down here, over here. And this one comes down to the next one, comes out over here. This one, dun 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 dun, and so on, until they like come out at the same spot that you want them to. So this would, someone came up in there. Actually, no, someone came over. This one would go under and then out, something like that. But yeah, you can have straight lines across, you can have X's across. I would definitely recommend, if you want to try something a little different, to look up references. There are, or if not just references, to look up like fashion type stuff to see how they do things. Not so much to see, well, I suppose to see how they do fashion, but just so that you have a reference image, because as I've mentioned in other videos before, references are your friend, references are there to help you, references are fantastic. So this comes to about here. We do boots. And the fluffy bit on top. Here we are. Just remember where your creases are for things like this. Now in shoes, a lot of the time you get this part right here that goes up to the heel, and that's in a lot of shoes that I've found. And because this is so small, I'm not going to worry too much about being exact. Yeah, we had this guy. That we just made on the fly. Your character is probably much different than mine is, and I look forward to seeing everybody's character for Project Pencil Snap. And right now I'm just pushing that out a little bit. Okay, so now we have a character. Well, this character has fairly simple details. They don't have a lot of like really intricate things. But what's most important here? What is it that we want to really emphasize? Because that is the thing that you want to look for when you take it down to the next part. So maybe you pass this along if you're doing character design to like say you're working on a game and you're trying to figure out what the game is going to look like. So you send the first round characters. Like, I like the character a lot. My problem is I don't want to go for that kind of style. I don't want it to look semi-realistic. I want it to look stylized. Okay, well then let's do stylized. So we can do some really cool things for stylized stuff that we can't do with normal stuff. Okay, top here, and I don't even know what a hat like this would be called. I think I just accidentally made it up on the spot. Oops. Oh, we got a silly pseudo-French beanie hat. I'm sure I've seen this somewhere before, I just can't remember where. Don't get too caught up on major details because these are all rough sketches, so. Let's see. Character also has a whoosh like that. Now we come to the part where, again, as I said, this is stylized. Well, the eyes don't have to be, you know, normal eyes. The eyes can be more of a representation of the character. If anybody's seen like Animal Crossing, Like, I'm sure you've seen eyes that look something like this. You get this character. Just like that. A little bit tired. Yeah. Maybe a little too much coffee. Also note, I am drawing certain things over top of the hair, like the eyebrows and things that would normally be hidden, because again, this is stylized. This isn't. This doesn't have to be realistic. At a phase like this, you could potentially drop the nose altogether, or you could do, you know, something small like that. He did have sideburns, and he had fluffy hair, things like that. Okay. He had a big old scarf. So we can actually play up the scarf a little bit here. With how big it is. Oops, that was the wrong button. I have my delete everything key and just normal eraser key next to one another because it's easier for my hand to reach it. However, it's probably the worst idea. And for people who wonder why would you have a self-destruct button in the first place, well, sometimes things are just not going the way that I planned, and it's easier to start over than it is to spend 3 hours trying to fix a thing. And that's just facts of life. Okay. So I got this guy. I have a little bit of that. This part. Just a bit. I'm not putting in any of the like wrinkles for this either, or at least not many, because that's not what's important. What's important is to get the shape of the character down, or at least what is distinguishably the same character. Oops. Yes. Sorry, I decided that it was going to go, nope, don't want that. This is a Photoshop. We're working in Psy. Also, when you get to this sort of style, you probably don't even need to draw all of the fingers. This is about the style that, at least for this in particular, this is about the style where it's like 4 fingers are okay. So it's 3 fingers and a thumb. The thumb is hidden, so that's fine. Oops. This part here. Again, just very simple on the wrinkles, because they're not our main focus. 3. Back of the hand. And then, because these are simplified boots, I'm just going to go very Animal Crossing-esque with it. One, 2 X's. There we go. Something like that. So as you can see, this is still the same character. This still reads as the same character, just hide the template here. Just different. This is a different style. So Chibi is generally the way that I draw myself, though I tend to wear glasses. But you can get like great big eyes. This guy's got like tired eyes. But this tends to be more anime inspired for chibi stuff. This might be more what you were going for. And the proportions are a little bit more off than they would be in the other styles. Also, what you're noting is, whereas before, the ear, the other side of the ear would be over here. This one, it would probably be about here. And this one, it's basically come full on around because of the way that it's shaped now. Also, the eyebrows have gained, for like chibi and thing, the eyebrows have magical properties wherein they can basically go on top of everything, because the eyebrows are what you're going to be seeing as like the main means of expression on faces. So they tend to defy physics a lot. So if ever you're looking at a chibi character and wondering, why do I see, like, why are their eyebrows above their head? And that's the same with like cartoons as well. Why do you see things that look like that? Why is that the way that it is? Because it's very expressive. It's the way that we view the human face. So even though it makes zero logical sense as to why that would be that way, that's why it is. And I gave you a really stupid hat, didn't I, buddy? It's okay. We can both hate the hat together. But, as you're going to see right here, only the eyebrows and the eyes get to go over top of the hair. Everything else is subject to roughly what is reality. And the reason I didn't finish drawing off this jaw is because the big old scarf is now going to get even rounder, even more here. Shows that it's going over here. There we are. Doesn't he look cozy? And this one, again, you could use a nose if you wanted to, but you could forego the nose entirely. Oops. Now for this, instead of actually drawing out the fingers, you want to do like, you can draw the fingers if you want to, but you could just as easily get away with doing what is basically mittens. So, glove, here, and like that. Now this isn't to say all chibis are really simplistic like this. If you look at, let's see, if anybody collects figurines, I don't because they're a little bit expensive. You've seen Nendoroid from the Good Smile Company. They do a lot of chibi things, and theirs are, not only are they really good, like not only are they really well made, really stylized, and you can get them of like all sorts of different things. They have a lot of detail in them, but they know how to scale back what is important and what isn't important. Okay. I'm not even going to draw out the rest of the details on the hand because it's not important. So, there we go. Hello, kitty cat. Oops, my cat has come to say hello. What you want? What you want, kitty kitty? Okay, now to get into the last one. So there's a lot of things that you can do with chibis. Again, going back to the example with the Good Smile Company and what have you. You can go really detailed, you can go really anime, or you could go super simplistic. Whereas they have, where a character can have little button eyes, and smile, little blush marks on the face because I think they're cute. I don't do many like super anime things, but I do like the little blush marks. I like to call them Dakuten because when you look at Japanese like hiragana and katakana, It's like this right here. That's Dakten, which turns ka into ga, because that's how the Japanese alphabet works. Silly cat. You are such a silly cat. There are good points to having something like this as well, because it gives like a really big surface area for expression, because people look at faces for like you can get a lot of expression out of the different faces. So you can do little button eyes, or you can do the great big anime eyes, which something like this allows for, which maybe you wouldn't get otherwise. Oops. Let's say something like this. Maybe because of how the hair is and how the hat is, we'll draw the hat a little bit crooked. So it looks like it's only just sitting on there. I like to draw a little for ears. I tend to draw, especially for chibis, a little almost 6 or a little H. My cat is putting her face in my face and it's not helping. So now we can do, this is going to cover up the little bitty beard. That's okay. Okay. You could do any number of things. Maybe you want to go back to like little dashes. Just try and make it look soft and round is the main thing for this kind of style of art. Is that you want it to look soft and round. And also, like, this scarf is not choking this person. And I did actually give this character individual fingers, because you can do that if you want to for chibis. Sometimes people do it, sometimes people don't. You go full on Powerpuff Girls with just rounded hands, like Animal Crossing style. Yeah, this sort of thing focuses more on the roundness of a character as opposed to major details. So we'll give the little poofy pants. And you can see there's only so much room. You get gloves. And when I drew this, I just duplicated one side over to the other, so I'm actually drawing out all the stuff now. Okay. Poof. And just little tiny triangles would be little poof, down, little triangle. Well, it's not really a triangle, it's like a rounded diamond-esque. But there, we have the same character in different styles. And let me hide this. It should read as the same character more or less throughout. So you really do need the beard to read as the same person. So after having done this, let's try and do this in reverse. So let's turn the template back on. Let's hide this. This is going to be sketch 2, if I can spell. Sketch 2. There we go. Let's start from this end. And let's make something that would be pretty detailed. Let's do first thing that comes to mind is some kind of like Sailor Moon type Super Sentai deal. So let's do that. Let's do something like that for this character. So again, we are using the larger proportion, or excuse me, larger surface area that we have for the face. So we're going to maximize that for our character. What should this character be like? What should they be like? Defender of something. Actually, you'll note this is too high on the face. Because of how chibis are, or especially these kind of chibis, you want to make sure that it's not going to overwhelm. And then for anime eyes, to be very large. Some of them have pupils, some of them don't have pupils. There are as many styles of drawing anime faces as there are anime out there. So if the way that I'm drawing this is different than the way that you might draw it, that's cool. I mean, having your own diverse style is what sets you apart. Look at, especially thinking of anime, Clamp, for instance. Now Clamp is the ones that did Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles. They did Cardcaptor Sakura, Angelic Layer. They did all sorts of things. Now you're noticing that I am actually drawing in some of the shadows around the eye, and that happens sometimes in anime eyes. I'm also going to put things in that would not be in a normal person's eye, like sparkles. Yay for sparkles. Smaller dot. There you go. Take this, see, control, and flip, and boop, and doop, and move. Okay. Try and center this. Right here. Okay. I actually don't like that little dot there. So the eyes should be just very carefully. The eyes should, in general, have the highlight on the same side. Ideally. Otherwise, you come off as if you did exactly what I did, where you just duplicated it. Okay, let's give this person. I am trying to think of how Android things are. It's like with the hair. So we are coming up with a focal point. There's a focal point here from which all of this stems. Maybe she's more like a lotus flower. That's why it looks like this. So she's kind of like a lotus or a hibiscus or some other kind of flower like that. Also, I haven't seen very many like Sailor Moon-esque magical girls with pixie cuts, and I need more of that in my life. Let's see. So this is kind of like a faux hawk type deal. I don't know, I liked this at first, but now I'm second guessing myself just a little bit. Yeah, I don't like the hair. That's why I said sometimes it's okay just to start over instead of spending hours trying to fix a problem. So I'm going to wait to put that on there. So let's start with the bangs. Because, yeah, start with the bangs. So I do want like a pixie cut type look, but maybe from this angle we'll get it to look right. Cut like little sporty tufts coming out right here. Okay. This doesn't look like magical girl at all anymore. This just looks like somebody with a pixie cut. But people with pixie cuts can still be magical girls. I mean, they call it pixie after all. So why not? Okay. And again, subtle, not subtle, but simplified. Now I will say again, anime is not something that I tend to draw very often. So if this looks a little bit strange, I apologize. You can have a cute outfit. No, I'm not very good at this at all. Alright, so what kind of outfit are you going to have? This is probably where you would see things like stylized hair effects and what have you as well. I just really hated that. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to like trying to think Cardcaptor Sakura, Sailor Moon, Madoka Magica. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Frills and fluff and so much. So like. Okay. And like Sylveon from Pokemon, maybe just a little bit. Let me see what this would look like if I flip it. And I'm just gonna squish this slightly. There we go. And gloves on you too, because why not? I really can't stand this anymore. Like, it doesn't scream magical girl, it's just a person. So, a person who looks very, very silly. So I'm going to very quickly do what anybody out of ideas should do. Go to the interwebs and look up outfits. Just grab an outfit off of the internet and basically try and figure that out. Okay. So I love a bow in your hair, because that's a lot of blank space. I used to be fairly decent at character design. I don't know what happened. I kid. Okay, so you don't have gloves anymore. Yay! No gloves, but all of your fingers. This is why a lot of times you see chibis with that like Powerpuff Girl style. Okay. Here we are. This is pretty basic, but it's gonna prove my point. Maybe this is decorated somehow. But yeah. So you have this cute little chibi thing. Oh, I forgot your eyebrows entirely, didn't I? Okay, so now that we have this here, we have a little heart graphic thing on your shirt. Something like that. Okay. So this one. How does this look without the sketch? So alright, that works. It's fairly decent anyway. So now we take this and then we go back the other way. So there's something in art, particularly in video game design, called ambidextrous sprites. And what ambidextrous sprites means, you can see it in cartoons, you can see it in video games. It means if a character is looking at you from one direction and their hair faces one way, when they look in the other direction, their hair will flip. And you can see it a lot if you pay attention for it, because a lot of the time it's just one of those things that people don't really notice until they're looking for it. So as you can see, this character is facing forward, but the hair goes off to the left-hand side. Well, if I'm going to draw them facing right, maybe the hair faces right, because that's the silhouette. It's just inverted. Because you wouldn't see that part of the silhouette that makes the character who they are, without that, which is why they do the ambidextrous sprite thing. Also, for things like pixel art and things like that, it's easier and cheaper to just flip the sprite than it is to make a whole nother set of run cycles, walk cycles, animations, attacks, and I'll just flip it. That's why it's called ambidextrous, because then they'll be holding weapons and things in their other hand. So, we have a character. Let's try and turn this chibi into a come here. There, now sit. My cat has been crying for me all day, and I don't know what her problem is. They've got food, they have water. I did their litter box just last night, and she went and made a stinker. Okay. So, first things first, again, the ambidextrous sprite. So we can actually do the bow. The bow we want to keep on the same side, I think. Because because it's over top of the hair. So because it's over top of the hair, it doesn't mess up the silhouette as much as, say, excuse me, just burped there. It doesn't mess with the hair as much as the flip part. So maybe the smaller piece is hidden behind. We still have to have this piece here. It sticks out on top. It comes around. So this is one piece, the one little piece in the center. And a big swooping piece, which goes off of the head. eyes into this part. Here we are. Now, as you can see, I don't have as much space because this took up such a big part of the character. So that means you need to start adding more detail into the character. So they had these little poofy bits that came out here, so maybe that's like this. Which is something that you would see a little bit more of. And this, unfortunately, is cutting into that, but that's okay. This is, again, just for demonstration, and this is all more or less rounded. Like that. They have fairly large eyes, but now we can't be as large with the eyes as we were before. Because we don't have the reality, basically. We don't have that much space anymore. I mean, we have space, just not as much. And you can go off of the face with things like eyelashes and whatnot. Don't be afraid if it does. That's normal. Remember, eyelashes are actually coming off of your face. Like, they aren't stuck to the side of your face. It's not painted on, so you don't need to worry too terribly much if it happens to be that way. Oops. Let's give you a little tiny. No, I really hate that. Just like that. 2 lines that don't even intersect. No, maybe they'll intersect. That's fine. There we go. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave the nose out because I don't particularly like it in this one. And again, for chibi, chibis don't have to have noses. They're all about simplifying down the details to get exactly what it is that you're trying to convey. Actually did make the neck a little bit thick on this character. That's okay. We can fix that. I actually want there to be lace around part of this jacket. Because if we're going to be go in cool and cute. You have to have leather and lace. There you go. And remember, the body is facing this way, so you want to make sure the center of the shirt, which is going to be slightly deformed, or the outfit this is where the center line is. I'm going to add a few more details, and that's basically what it is now, is adding details that it didn't have before. This is also going to have some lace around it. I'm starting to think I need to make a leather jacket with some lacy pockets and lacy designs. Lace in the bottom. And you have a necklace. Now you can actually make the necklace bigger than it actually is. Let's see, the sleeves are all scrunched up and looks bad. Well, how does it look in the drawing? Or not the drawing, the photograph. I'm just going to do mitten hands with this one because I don't want to draw out the fingers. I am too lazy, and that is not what we're here for. Because this is meant to be, again, simplifying and bringing this stuff out like that. She has, well, this character has a dress. Yeah, looks terrible. A trick to drawing skirts, which maybe you guys have seen on the internet, maybe you haven't, is zigzag lines. And you don't really want them to be, depending on what kind of fabric you're going for, you don't want them to be super duper depending on what kind of fabric you're going for, you don't want them to be either super duper close together, or maybe you do, maybe you're going for that kind of a fabric. If that's not the kind of fabric that you're going for, it would always behoove you to look up, like, I want to make a character that's wearing a denim jacket. Okay, well, how does denim fold? I don't know, I just want to draw a character wearing a denim jacket. Okay, well, if you don't know how denim folds, then you're not going to be able to make it look like it's a denim jacket. This goes back to, I think, the second Project Pencil Snap that we did, where it was about how things look, or how to like look at things critically, and being able to use references. Save this. Let me just update Twitter real quick. go. Just submit that. There we go. Lost where that went to for a second. So this character is wearing sandals. So again, just like with the fingers, you don't really have to draw out all of the toes, but you might want to draw where the big toe is, at least. Oops, it's not how things where it goes over this. Here. It's a little slightly squished feet. There's a little thing that I'm adding to these. If you notice how it has a little bit of a bulge where it mates. Same on this side as well. If you take clay or something and set it down on a flat surface, if you just set it down, it's going to be a block of clay. But assuming it's soft, if you press it down, it's going to bulge a little bit. And be much shorter. Because of the weight of the person, and because your skin is soft and squishy, one would hope, it does similarly. Yeah, and don't forget which side is which. Big toe is always going to be facing inward. Every now and again, I catch myself accidentally, literally, excuse me, giving a character 2 left feet. Let's not do that. That's not cool. Okay, so we've taken this super kawaii chibi character, and let's just get rid of this on the shirt. I don't like this. Let's get rid of this. So we've updated them. We've made them a little more detailed. We've given their jacket some lacy detailing. We've given them more lines in the hair. Now we go on to slightly more stylized, but more closer to normal human proportions. So let's do that. So I really do like starting with the face, because the main focal point of most every drawing, again, is going to be the face. That's the first place that people look for on a character. Is what expression are they making? Because when we look at ourselves, when we look at other people, the first thing that we look at is their face. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they angry? What is their mood? There was a study done, I forgot by who, because I'm really bad at this, that people are very, very quick to recognize an angry face than they are to any other expression that you could give. And it's just in the little things like a crinkle of the nose or eyebrows furrowing. It could be really, really, really subtle things. And when you draw, you have to try and capture what it is that you want to express, which is why I always start with the face. Excuse me. Need to get a little drink there. I almost drew the other dude from before. now we go almost completely off the script. We have a basic understanding of what it is that we want to accomplish. We know we have our generalized look of what the character needs to be. So now it's doing more detailed things. This is all probably going to come up like this. That looks really bad. Okay. There. And you can always adjust whether or not you want this person to have a slightly more rounded face or a slightly more square face or things like that. But now the eyebrows actually make it onto the face underneath the hair. Actually, I want to give you a little bit of a nose. Just a little one. But this still reads as the same character, as you see. They just look a little bit different. I don't know what kind of I don't know what kind of clothing style this is. Maybe like soft rock. Not really. Some kind of like crossover type. Because we've added a little something every time we've drawn this character. And again, you can just do like squiggles for things like necklaces and what have you, because it's your drawing, and you can draw whatever you want, and so long as you like it, it's not wrong. because it's your drawing. I want there to be. You wouldn't have seen this before because it was back behind. Let's not forget the lace. The lace detailing. Okay. 1, 2. So it comes like this. That might be a little much. Again, you don't have to draw all the fingers for ones like this unless you want to. You could go down to just 4 fingers. It's fine. Just pushed up sleeves, and let's do a little like squiggly. You know how you get the like squiggles on the elbows, because that's cute. Now I want the skirt to follow to some extent, but not entirely. Let's see, waistband. I wanted to cut off just here above the knees. Now you can get a general, like say you wanted to look like that, right? So this would be the back part, this would be the front part. So if it's easier for you to visualize what it's going to look like if you do something like this, that's fine too. Because again, there's no, let me just get rid of this so I can delete this. Go away. There's no right and wrong way. There's no wrong way to do art. I said that in my very first Project Pencil Snap. There's no wrong way to do art. Let's save. Still chat is mysteriously empty. How very sad. and to have lovely discussions with y'all. See what you guys thought. Another thing that you can do is, while normally the expression toe beans are reserved for cats, excuse me, they can be applied just as easily to people. Little toe beans. I don't know why this particular person wanted to wear the outfit that they chose, but that's what they picked, and that's what we're going with. And don't worry about not being able to get all of the toes on. If you look at feet sideways, like somebody standing sideways, you don't see all of their toes. So don't fret about not getting all the toes. I can't see all the toes! Well, that's fine. You don't need to worry about seeing all the toes because it's not physically possible. Okay, so we have this person with a very lacy leather jacket, a skirt, sandals, a little bow in their hair, which is probably some kind of clip of some sort. Let's see what this looks like without a template. That looks alright. I would say that looks pretty good. Pull this in so it there we are. There. Like something is kind of throwing me off about. Like, I know I wanted it to be poofy, but eh. Okay, now we draw this person as a normal human being. Let me see. So we're gonna start with where the hair comes off. So it's going to come out from this general location. And from the look of the hair, the whorl goes this way. Even though, yes, it does go up in that direction as well. But I want to just keep that in mind. And we do want this to be like, we don't want it to be incredibly masculine. We want it to just be a cute little pixie cut. So that's kind of the challenge here, is how do you get it so that it looks not super duper, so that it doesn't read automatically as male. And this is very clearly a hair clip of some kind. Because how else would they get that in their hair? Let's see. Oh, and there's an airplane going by overhead. Apologies. rocking the cat's eye. Oh geez, what is it called? Eyeliner. Yeah, that thing. I don't wear makeup, so I'm... don't know the words for all of these things. I'm going to have a soft, round chin compared to the other one. There we go. And actually, this is a little bit square. I'm not entirely happy with that one. So, might need it to be that way. Let's check. Yeah, you can have a square jawline like that. That's fine, actually, in retrospect. Let me see. So, some of this is slightly off. Let's just fix for that. The neck is a bit strange. Also, you don't need to always draw in that line of muscles. Just a little sketch is fine. Don't forget, things do tend to taper to points. So, in particular, the collar of the shirt. And get this to go just like that in that general direction. And then you want to follow the curvature of the chest, something like that. There we go. And then this part here, Yeah, that one didn't have any. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to show you something here. So because of the way the model is in the drawing that I'm using as, or the, I keep saying drawing, the photograph that I'm using as reference is the shirt actually pulls, which is just about the only time you actually see breast defined more. You don't normally see that. Because that sort of thing tends to just not really happen. Maybe at a later date we'll go over folds in clothes. But until then, if you are interested, there are lots of tutorials online that tell you about clothes. There's Pixel Lovely is a good resource. They are basically free online art classes. They're pretty special. I like them a lot. I think they're kick-ass. Definitely helpful if you're just starting out. Okay, you'll have that little bone in your wrist there. There we go. You've got black nails to go with the rocker lip. I don't like how this part turned out, so I'm just gonna smooth it. Oh, I drew pockets on that one, but I didn't draw pockets on this one, so let's very quickly put those pockets in the lace. There we go. Now, if there was anybody who could design an outfit like this, that would be pretty spiffy, I think. I think that reads pretty well as what it's meant to read as. Okay. jacket. This part here. This part comes around. Lace, and then the lace continues back this way. Nope. See the proof of the sleeves. Oops, how the personal drawing of it was just under their knees. So let's have this go like that. Okay. And see, that's a very helpful thing to like just sketch out, but we haven't done the this part yet. And now it's much more realistic if you don't do like dun 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 dun, unless you're doing pleats. Yeah, unless you're doing pleats, you don't want to do this, because then it looks like you starched and creased it so that it looks that way. So don't do that if you want something to look organic and just like maybe is a really soft cotton or excuse me, like a chiffon, something like that. But yeah, so you don't want to do that unless you're doing like starched pleats. And also, you don't need to go all the way up to the top, but you do need to follow the general flow. The general flow of this is based on what's underneath it. Calves, ankle, and then it gets to be a little bit more of drawing feet, and now I regret, so much regret, because I'm not the best at drawing feet. 2, 3, 4, 5. Two, three, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 makes 5. There we go. Alright, and then the hand, I'm just going to draw like that. I'm going to draw all of the hand. Okay, so now we have a character that we started out as being this chibi thing to where we're at now. and we added detail along the way instead of taking things away. Whereas in the first one, we started off with lots of detail and then we simplified it along the way. Okay, so that is today's Project Pencil Snap for the month of January. I hope you learned a little bit about character design, about simplifying things, about what's most important in how to convey what you're trying to convey. But yeah, so I will be posting these up on the usual platforms of social media, and thank you very much. I will see you guys next time. Bye!